All right, let's talk about something that's hitting so many of us right now, burnout. And I mean, it's way more than just feeling tired, right? It's this deep, deep exhaustion. To really get a handle on it and to beat it, we've got to understand it first. So let's jump right in.
I mean, does this hit close to home for you? That feeling where you just wake up and, you're already dreading the day. It's a kind of tired that sleep just doesn't seem to fix. And if you've felt that, you are definitely not alone. It's a huge sign that something's just not right.
And get this, it is not a rare thing at all. We're talking more than half of all workers say they're feeling burned out. That's huge. This isn't just a you problem or a me problem. It's a massive collective issue that we really need to pay attention to.
So, what are we actually talking about when we say burnout? What does it really mean? Let's get into the specifics.
Okay, so here's the deal. Burnout is basically the state of complete exhaustion. We're talking physically, emotionally, and mentally. And this isn't about having a bad week. Nope. This is what happens when you're under stress for a really, really long time. And that stress can come from anywhere, your job, sure, but also things like taking care of family, money worries, just the crazy pace of life these days. And experts have broken it down into three main ingredients, if you will. First up, you've got that deep emotional exhaustion. You just feel like your tank is completely empty. Then there's something called depersonalization. It's a fancy word for feeling cynical or just detached from everything, like you're just going through the motions. And finally, there's this feeling of reduced accomplishment, where you start to feel like, man, I'm just not good at this anymore. Nothing I do seems to matter. All right, so that's the what, but to actually fix this, we need to get to the why. Why does this happen to us? And the answer, believe it or not, goes right down to our biology. And this is so, so important to hear. Burnout is not a personal failure. It is not a sign that you're weak. It is a very real physical state. What's happening is that your body's built-in stress alarm system, the one that's supposed to keep you safe, has been stuck in the on position for way too long, and it's just completely out of whack. Think about how this system is supposed to work. Your brain spots a danger, right? Boom, it shoots out adrenaline. That's your classic fight or flight response. Then cortisol comes in to keep you sharp and on high alert. It's an amazing system for survival. But here's the catch. It was never meant to be running 24/7. When the stress just doesn't stop, that system never gets a chance to power down. And that constant on switch is exactly what drains your battery to zero. But it's not just biology, right? There's a huge psychological piece to this puzzle. Burnout really takes hold when you feel powerless. It's that awful feeling that you just don't have what it takes, the energy, the support, or the control to handle everything that's being thrown at you. Okay, so we've laid out the problem, and it's a big one. But now let's get to the good part. What do we do about it? The very first place to start is with your body. We have to find ways to calm down that over-the-top stress response. Now, these might seem like simple things, but don't underestimate them. They're actually powerful tools to reset your biology. See, the goal is to complete the stress cycle. When you get stressed, your body is primed to either run or fight. If you just sit at your desk stewing in it, all those stress hormones have nowhere to go. But moving your body, getting outside, or even just coloring, these things tell your body, hey, the danger has passed, you're safe now. It's like flipping the off switch that your nervous system has been begging for. So calming your body is step one. Absolutely crucial. Step two is all about your mind. It's about shifting your thinking, which can literally change how your body handles stress. This is seriously fascinating stuff. How you think about stress actually changes your physical reaction to it. If your mindset is stress is awful and debilitating, your body kind of responds that way. But if you can shift to a stress is enhancing mindset, seeing it as a challenge, something that can help you grow, you can actually use that energy to your advantage and build resilience. And this leads right into something called self-efficacy. It's basically your belief in your own ability to handle tough situations. It's that inner confidence that says, you know what, I've got this. And when you have that, you feel more in control, which is the perfect antidote to that feeling of powerlessness that burnout loves so much. Okay, so we've talked body and mind. The last critical piece of this puzzle is other people. You absolutely do not have to go through this alone. In fact, connection is one of the most powerful weapons we have against burnout. And support isn't just one generic thing. It actually comes in a few different flavors. You've got emotional support. That's your friend who just listens. There's instrumental support. That's someone who brings you a meal when you're overwhelmed. You've got informational support, which is solid advice. And appraisal support, which is honest feedback that helps you see things clearly. A really good support system has a little bit of all of these. But here's the thing. Leaning on others is great, but it only works if you're also protecting your own time and energy. And that means we have to talk about boundaries. I know. For a lot of us, this is the hardest part, but it is absolutely essential for recovery.
So how do you say no without feeling like a jerk or wrecking a relationship? Let me introduce you to the positive no. It's a game changer. It's a 3-step sandwich. First, a yes to your own value. Something like, I really value protecting my family time. Then comes the clear, simple no. So I won't be able to help with that project this weekend. And you end with another yes, an alternative. But I'd be happy to brainstorm with you first thing Monday morning. See, it's foam, but it's also respectful.
All right, as we start to pull this all together, I want to leave you with a different way of thinking about this. We talk about recovering from burnout, but what if the goal isn't just to get back to normal? Because maybe normal was part of the problem.
In fact, there's this incredible idea called post-traumatic growth. Sometimes, hitting rock bottom with burnout forces you to stop and reevaluate everything. What you value, what your priorities are, how you're spending your life. And for a lot of people, it actually becomes this trigger, this catalyst for building a life that's way better and more authentic than the one they had before.
So I want you to think about this. What if we reframe this entire painful experience? What if burnout isn't an ending? What if it's not a failure? What if it's actually a really powerful signal from your body and your mind screaming that something has to change? And maybe, just maybe, it's the perfect opportunity to rebuild your life into something even more meaningful.